Good morning, gentlemen. Craig James here from masculinebydesign.com. You can also find me inside of the Fraternity of Excellence with my 150 plus other brothers, all striving toward being exemplary men. You can also give me a follow on Twitter. My handle is Masculine Design. So this morning I want to talk to you about something that I believe is a common misconception. There's this quote that is oft presented in the self-improvement sphere that says, you will become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And while there is an element of truth to that, I think that there is a nuance that is missing. Because a lot of people use that quote to say, whoever you are spending your time with in the moment, whoever you are spending the most time with right now, that is a reflection of who you will become if you are not already like them already. And that's often used as a negative statement. It's used to get men to evaluate their associations and step things up a notch, maybe disassociate with some of those men and upgrade their network. And there's something to be said for that. For some men, that is necessary. I've also heard a quote that says, show me the 5 men that a man spends the most time with, and I'll show you that man's future. It's a similar concept. But I believe both of these concepts are flawed. And the reason they're flawed is because they assume a static relationship between all of those men who are in that network. They assume that these men are going to stay the same. In order for you to look at the 5 men that I spend the most time with and say that you can predict my future based on the qualities, characteristics, and success of those 5 men as currently defined, must assume that those 5 men are never going to change. They're not going to continue upgrading. They're not going to do anything to improve themselves, or maybe to have their lives decline in some measure or metric. But that's not how most men see themselves, or how most men pursue life. We're not going through life in a static state. We're constantly ebbing, flowing, moving forward, moving back. And so what I would like to posit to you this morning, men, is that instead of looking at where the 5 men or the network of men that you engage with most often currently stand in their lot in life, instead of looking at that, what I would proffer to you this morning is that you look at where those 5 men are going. Because you may have a solid group of men who right now are similar to where you're at, maybe some behind you, some ahead of you in different areas of what it is to be a man. But if you are surrounding yourself with men who are getting after it, men who are ambitious, men who are driven, men who are accomplishing things and who are constantly improving and actualizing greater and greater amounts of their God-given potential, you're in the right spot. You don't necessarily need to look at that and say, well, these men, aren't millionaires who can command the sexual desire of a woman at will, whatever it is you want to define as being successful for a man, and say, well, they're not there yet, so I need to disassociate. I think that you will do yourself and them a great disservice by looking at things in that way. I think instead what you need to look at is the kind of men, or the kind of men that you want to become, are those the kind of men that you're surrounding yourself with, and or are the type of men that you're surrounding yourself with men who are seeking to continually improve and get better? Because if you are doing that, you have a good network already. You don't necessarily need to go out and look for another network of men or men who you closely align yourself with simply because they aren't where you want to be. Now, I will add an exception to this, or a clarification, that it is important that you have men in your network, particularly who you are close with, who are further actualized than you. And if you can find men who are much further along that path of actualization, even better, because those men are going to be able to get you to where you want to go that much faster. But don't make the mistake of believing that just because the men in your network are maybe on a similar plane as you, that they are providing zero value, or that they aren't providing a significant amount of value to your life. Because if you are surrounding yourself with men who are constantly upgrading their lives, well, guess what? And you're doing the same, guess what? These are men who are going to help you to continually actualize your potential as well. And this is an important aspect that is often overlooked. Like I said, men use this quote, well, you're the average of the 5 men you spend the most time around, to basically have men feel like crap, to feel like, oh, well, the men that I'm around aren't necessarily the highest caliber or where I want to be. Well, that's normal, because men who are 10 levels above you, however you would define that and what it is you're working toward, they're probably not looking to align themselves with a network of men who are 10 levels behind them. So what's important is that you find a network of men who are in varying areas along that plane of actualization, but are constantly working to build themselves up, to better themselves, to become more today than they were yesterday. If you have that kind of network of men, you are in the right place. You needn't go back and purge those relationships because they're not, millionaires with successful businesses and, excellent marriages with 10 children. Again, however you would define success, you don't need to purge those relationships. You can be satisfied in knowing that you are surrounding yourself with high value men who are accomplishing, who are ambitious, who are driven, who are continually bettering themselves, and they will better you as a result. And I want to throw that out there because I think a lot of men have this misunderstanding about what that quote means and how to apply it, and rightly so, because typically the way that quote is used and leveraged is not in a way in which I'm describing it today. So I hope this helps to clarify some things, maybe bring some solace to the way that you view your network. And I also want to explain that this is why I created the Fraternity of Excellence with my partner, Hunter Drew. It is not to have a network of men who are all, believing themselves to be completely actualized and thinking themselves to be the epitome of success. It's not the kind of network that I want to be a part of. And that's not the kind of network that you should want to be a part of as well. You should want to be a part of a network of men who are all striving to become better, as they define it, each and every day, and also be working to add value to their brothers, add value to their tribe, to get value and also receive value so that all men can be made better as a result. And that is what we have built inside of the Fraternity of Excellence. That is what is being proved out day by day, week by week, month by month, as the men inside of there are continually leveling up their game as a man. And that's something that you want to be a part of. You want to check that out. Go to fraternityofexcellence.com, because I'm telling you, there will be nothing more powerful in catalyzing the actualization of your potential than that. So that's the message I have for you today, man. Again, check that out. Go to fraternityofexcellence.com. Again, you can give me a follow on Twitter. My handle is Masculine Design. I want to thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing this message. I appreciate all of you. This message would not be able to have the impact that it's having without those of you who have my back, who are in my network, who are sharing what I'm doing, and who are committed to helping their fellow man do the same. So thank you again. Until next time, this is Craig James from MasculineByDesign.com. I am out, brothers.